Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the GAC Group 2015 ITTF World Tour Japan Open, a Super Series tournament on the World Tour. We're here in Kobe, Japan. I'm Adam Bobrow, and we are getting into the men's singles quarterfinals. In blue, from China, SHANG, the monster slayer, the giant slayer who took down Ma Long. And in black, from Japan, Yuto MURAMATSU, the defender with short pips on the backhand for more aggressive play and attacks with the backhand side. Beat teammate Koki Niwa just yesterday in a furious match. Outstanding play. MURAMATSU, when interviewed, said he wanted to recover after being knocked out early by Swedish player Karlberg, I believe Anton Karlberg, in the under-21 men's. Wanted to do better in the senior event, the men's open. And so far, he's done it. Has only beaten Koki Niwa once before in a major tournament. And then pulled it out yesterday with an explosive backhand while up 9-7. Countering, coming running in. SHANG on screen right now. Took down Ma Long almost 4-0. Ma Long took the fourth game. And it was a 4-1 victory for SHANG. But to get there, he had to get through Robert Gardosh of Austria, who's a very difficult player. Gardosh actually had match point on Zhang Jike at last year's World Championships. Was not able to take down the, at the time, standing world champion. MURAMATSU has been a very strong player against the Chinese. Had a good match against Fan Zhendong at the Junior Olympics 2014. So the power of SHANG, incredible power, but the change of pace game has been trouble for him. If you've been watching all day, earlier today in the doubles match, SHANG with the long serves, the shots from the body, getting around for the forehand attack, very impressive. SHANG is 24 years old, and his highest world ranking ever was 85th in the world. MURAMATSU at 18 years old is currently world ranked 27, the 15th seed in this tournament. And I guess you could say he's big in Japan, a tall stature, covers a lot of ground and has a huge forehand attack, actually both sides. See some of his credits right here. Semifinals of 2014 in the World Tour Japan Open just last year. Japanese coach with him, keep him sharp, add some years of experience to the game. Now SHANG, when interviewed, said he was very thrilled to beat Ma Long and surprised. I know there's a lot of speculation from fans at home, Chinese teammates, Chinese players. Of course, teammates can upset teammates. It's happened on both sides. Yuto MURAMATSU beat Koki Niwa. And then here you can see SHANG, round of 16 in 2012 at the World Tour Russian Open and the Swedish Open in 2013, quarterfinalist, but really not getting to see a lot of daylight in terms of international exposure, playing in the Chinese Super League. Some of the world's best players, I think hands down the world's best players. Fast pace of game, the strongest league on the planet. So when it comes to a fast-paced game, we know SHANG up for the task. Yong Pei San, Malaysian umpire. An assistant umpire from Korea, Kim Kyung-hee.
Men's single quarterfinals. MURAMATSU versus
The crowd is going to be behind MURAMATSU as we are here in Kobe, Japan.
Love all.
The beautiful Kobe, Japan. Best of 7 match right here. Love all.
One love.
First point outright. SHANG is not settled in yet. Ripping backhand goes long. MURAMATSU definitely not afraid to go for it. Japan, a land of many strong defenders over the years. Sometimes it takes the attacker a bit of time to really settle into the defender's pace settle into the looping game against heavy underspin. Beautiful point, 2 attacks in a row, running into the table. This is what a defender, a strong defender at this level is going to have to do. Stay as close to the table as possible to keep the attacker honest about leaving it up on the table. Soft shots are going to be countered back. Ripping forehand, the first big finishing forehand we've seen from Shang this game. Just long on the chop. Now, as far as the attacker settling in, one thing that the defender, Muramatsu, is going to have to do is vary his spins with similar motions. If he can deliver a little bit less spin or more spin, varying it, it's going to make it very difficult for Shang to get too comfortable on the attack. There it is, heavy underspin from the short pips, backhand side. Muramatsu's using the inverted rubber on the red side. The black is the short pips. A little bit less spin on the attack. Solid for defense. Traditional defenders using long pips on the backhand for spin reversal, but it's very difficult to attack with long pips. Short pips a little bit more consistent in the flat hitting game. Well placed right into the body. Shang finds the legs as an obstacle for Muramatsu. More patient play from Shang, waiting until the ball comes up a little bit high before he really explodes through the ball. Fast low loop to the forehand side. You can see that topspin keeping the ball low. So many good reasons to have topspin on your shot. And the point's over. Muramatsu sneaks right back in for the ripping forehand shot. Even had a twiddle in the middle of that point. You could see the push. He had turned the racket around. Twiddle means he turns the racket around. There's the finishing shot again up near the table. Of course, with the inverted rubber, you can impart more spin on the ball when you have less to deal with from your opponent. So sometimes if Shang leaves the ball up on the table with a little backspin, Muramatsu is going to twiddle the racket and push heavy with the red side.
6, 7.
And again, Muramatsu there, you can see him sneaking back up to the table just to make sure that Shang stays honest and keeps the ball real low. If it comes up too high, he's ready to turn and just attack it. Down the line, short side of the table, Muramatsu ties it back up. Game one has already been a roller coaster ride so far, a lot of back and forth. Just perfect extension on the forehand. Despite that ball being a little high and near the net, had a lot of topspin, and sometimes when the ball's out in front, you'll see this a lot. Attackers versus choppers, the ball gets very high, they try to finish the point, and it's very difficult to anticipate how much spin is on the ball. Fast long serve and a quick third ball attack to finish the point. underspin serve with the pendulum into the body. Defenders don't get enough credit for their serves. A lot of defenders use backhand serves, especially in the women's game. Muramatsu's got a huge forehand, much like Ju Se-hyuk, defender who knows how to attack on the forehand side. Heavy underspin shot keeps it low from off the table, and it's 2 game points for Muramatsu to take down the Giant Slayer in game 1. Fired up Muramatsu, very vocal, look at that. Floats just long down the line on the forehand side. Shang Kun with the second serve here. Break off the top of the net, and Shang Kun recovers it to stay in the point. Point had almost everything, a fishing shot kicking out on the forehand side. But that's 2 game points saved for Shang, and it's now deuce. Muramatsu wiping the sweat off the palm of his hand for the best grip possible on the racket. Miss hit. Shang Kun does not connect. It's 11-10. Another game point for Yuto Muramatsu, the 18-year-old defender from Japan. Up and out, and it's 12-10. The 18-year-old Muramatsu takes game 1, 12-10 over the Giant Slayer, Shang Kun of China. Stick around, game 2 coming up just after this. We're back for game 2. Yuto Muramatsu on screen right now in yellow. Shang Kun, the left-handed Chinese player, making sure he's got the best traction possible. Goosebumps in the commentator's booth for the sound. Again, both of these players have some big upsets under their belts. Shang Kun took down Ma Long. Ma Long's first loss in 2015 on the World Tour. He's only lost twice before in 2014, once to Zhang Jike and once to Xu Xin. But Shang Kun now on the map. And a quick light spin chop, sort of wide push shot on the serve receive from Muramatsu to win the point. Big forehand shots, 2 in a row from Shang to take the first point, his first point, and the second point of the game. This is their first time facing off, so neither of these players has a head-to-head record against the other. That's odd. We don't see that too often. Shang Kun with a heavy push. And the loop from Muramatsu, the chopper, into the net. Break off the top of the net. Ball still loaded with spin. Very difficult to touch. Anyone at home watching who's played a chopper knows how sensitive you have to touch the ball when it's spinning that rapidly. Huge power on the forehand from Shang Kun. Seems like he's coming out with a different plan. Slightly less patience. Typically patience a good thing against defenders. They're used to bringing the ball back time and time again. Used to players getting frustrated, trying to finish the point and missing. For example, heavy spin deep at the baseline. First towel break of the game. We're tied up at 3 points each. Just long on the floating chop. Looked like a little hesitation. Muramatsu looking for an attack on the third ball, but Shang keeping it short to the forehand. Short and low. Heavy underspin, long cross court. Again, they're point for point right now, still tied up at 4 points each. For a few points there, it looked like Shang Kun was up to a good start, attacking aggressively early on. The spin variation from Muramatsu has created some difficulty in Shang Kun. Two chops at the baseline and one a little bit more shallow. Sometimes it's the shallow one that causes trouble. And that ball clips the top of the net down near the ground. Muramatsu not able to recover the ball. This is not the first time we've seen Muramatsu go long on a few chops. Not an easy job when you're chopping against Shang Kun. Ball's got to be deep on the table pretty consistently. If it's too deep, it goes off the table. If it's too shallow, Shang Kun's going to win the point, controlling the angles, having some real power. That's the shallow one. The first one shallow, Shang Kun rips it and it comes back long. This is how the game started. Big shots early in the rally from Shang Kun. Going for the huge backhand to finish it. Muramatsu finds the net. Looked like he wanted to do that a few shots earlier. The jumping backhand, clever improvisation. That was the one. Stays in the point, and then that ripping backhand. Turn the racket around. But now it's 5 game points for Shang Kun.
11-5.
A quick exit, 11-5 after a deuce game 1 loss for Shang Kun. It's tied up at 1 game each. Stick around. Game 3 will determine who has the lead just after this break.
关键是耐心，你看，你更是这发球一定要当攻去打，很多半球打很多，不用去白打，当攻去打的目的是说你衔接上不要当攻球，你这样消了，你再拿就真的完全发长的，不用去比赛。该死抓的该加上你还得加上，你加上一没事，没事，他一拉这就是死干了，一拖一个拖一个死劲一拉。 戳你这边，戳你个反手，不但一再一小，这又不算了，就发球就完了。而且发球也是转不转2条线的口发。
我就感觉发这边他第一下都不转了，好强。
这样就配合。
And we're back for game 3. Shang Kun took game 2, 11 points to 5 over Yuto MURAMATSU from Japan on screen. MURAMATSU has been grabbing the attention on the international scene for the past several years. The young defender's fascinating to watch and threatening from both sides. Masato Shiono, the defender who won the Japan Open in 2013, playing all the way through the qualifiers to get there, had to pay his own way into the tournament. Beating many national team members. Again, the art of chopping, the defensive play, quite popular in Japan. Koji Matsushita from back in the day. Just beautiful to watch. So far, MURAMATSU the same, leading 2 points to 0 in the start of game 3. Racing all over the backcourt, MURAMATSU rushed into the last forehand chop shot. There was the twiddle. His first receive was with the inverted side to keep heavy spin on the receive. Good strategy to make sure you've got extra spin on the ball, especially when the opponent's going big on the third ball attack, trying to finish the point early. Few attacks in a row from MURAMATSU, the third one going into the net. It's a strong attack, but if he's off the table, Shang Kun's going to be pretty comfortable blocking it. We saw another twiddle in that rally. As MURAMATSU came right there, it was. Came running back into the table. Off the push, wanted to keep it loaded with spin. But Shang Kun playing it wide to the backhand. The farther you are from the table, the more ground you have to cover side to side. MURAMATSU is going to want to stay as close as he can, but it's difficult with all the power Shang Kun's giving it. Ripping backhand topspin, the loop from running into the table. MURAMATSU showing the threat of his backhand attack. What can happen if you're not precise enough with your touch shot? When you're the attacker, you don't want to have to worry about a defender with a backhand loop off your push. Heavy underspin off the inverted side of the racket. MURAMATSU extending his lead. Looked like he was caught off guard there, setting up for the backhand. A reactionary forehand chop from Muramatsu.
Left. 5-3.
Soft shot there from Shang leaves it short. Leaves Muramatsu come running in, getting the ball from below the table. Fast long serve and goes for a counter rip on the backhand with the inverted rubber. If he makes that shot, Shang-kun's gonna have no idea what hit him. High risk play though from the 18-year-old chopper. Again, his last match against Koki Niwa, left-handed inverted looper with great control and clever shots. Well placed deep on the backhand. Muramatsu has trouble bending it back into the table. Ripping backhand clips the top of the net and goes out. Muramatsu had a shot in that rally that could have finished the point outright. Reactionary backhand chop. Watch this snap. Look at that wrist tuck. Comes through and over the ball. Just a little bit out in front, miscalculates. Again, the ability to focus at this level of play. So much to consider on every shot at every moment. Not only what's coming at you, but what you're going to give your opponent.
5-8.
Despite a clever side spin chop, the follow-up from Muramatsu is not enough. Shang now with 3 in a row.
9-5.
Muramatsu had a good look at that ball. He's going to have to make that shot, and usually he will. Plays the short side of the table, has the opening. Then again, from this camera angle, balls look a little bit higher than they might appear from the side. Very difficult to read from behind how high the ball is. Some of these receives. There was the inverted receive, heavy underspin right away. Muramatsu late in the game, but closing in. It's very difficult to hit a ball that's loaded with underspin while it's way out in front of you. So the attacker is going to have to be moving his feet to set up the perfect shot every shot. Break off the top of the net, quick apology, but it's the ripping backhand of Muramatsu that makes it a 1-point game. The quick twiddle in the racket hits the shot. Watch how quickly he turns it back around. We'll see if we can see it. By the time he pulled it back, it was already back with the red on the forehand. And this time the break goes back to Shang-kun. 2 game points for Shang at the 3rd towel break this game. We've talked about how much of a thinker's game table tennis is. And Right now, Muramatsu's tried many things from the attack with the backhand side successfully, some overly aggressive ones. Just long on the backhand chop. Shang Kun escapes 11 points to 8 to take a 2-1 lead over Yuto Muramatsu. Stick around, game 4 coming up just after this short break.
这球攻势一般，你根本就不用着急，上来俩接发球失误就拼命一闪，快球他干嘛？他就是大出来大出台，你拉拍也没问题。
我就拉呀，然后他一小我这地方一拖就。
对，没的，他反手攻我操，你不能给你逼到，你就给他不就完了吗？对不对？这种球他妈又飘，他就甩到各个人甩，他就给他甩，甩说明他各个甩，说明他根本没输，因为他敢抢。
コースちょっとフォアサイドに
上去就跑，哪里能拿？
We are back for game 4 where Yuto Muramatsu, 18-year-old world rank number 27, the defender on screen, is losing 1 game to 2 after taking the first in deuce over Shang Kun. Yuto Muramatsu's had an outstanding tournament so far, but the same can be said about the only person this year to beat Ma Long, world rank number 1, on the world tour in the race to Lisbon. Apology there, not sure if it was related to the contact of the ball. Didn't see any nets. And after a beautiful backhand, Shang Kun able to bring it back wide to the backhand. Muramatsu steps around to take the backhand over the forehand side of the table. Don't think he expected that ball to come back. Usually it won't. Muramatsu setting up for the forehand attack. And the head of the racket goes low. You know it's going to be a topspin shot. Starts low, finishes high. Starts high, finishes low. More times than not, it's going to start high and finish low for Muramatsu as he's a chopper. Still on the table, but the last one, a little bit of side spin carries. We've seen Muramatsu play the fishing game a bit as well. Masato Shiono a little bit more commonly fishing with the forehand.
3-2.
And look at the frustration from Shang Kun. Playing a defender can be a very frustrating experience. You have the time. Just have to watch very closely, and the shots are more difficult than they seem.
3-2.
Fast shot deep on the table to the backhand corner, and Shang Kun at the first towel break is leading 4 points to 2. Look how much he has to lift that arm behind his head to lift the ball. Heavy underspin takes a whole lot of strength to attack and still keep out of the net. Floating chop shot deep on the table, and it's missed completely by Shang Kun. Smart play to the short side of the table from Shang. flip the hand of Muramatsu.
Time out.
Timeout is called for the Japanese player Muramatsu. We see timeouts earlier and earlier in the matches than they used to be. Again, the only time to call a timeout is when you think it will change the outcome of the match. Each player only has one timeout per match. You don't want to be a deuce in the deciding game without a timeout if you really needed one and could have saved it. But at the same time, you've got to make sure you get as far as you can in the match, which sometimes requires a timeout in the fourth game. Muramatsu's heading back to the table. He determines when the timeout ends if the clock does not expire. It's either 1 minute or when the player that calls the timeout returns to the table. So Shang Kun still has his timeout if he needs it, but Muramatsu, no more lifeline.
5-3.
Right out of the timeout, Muramatsu takes the point. Crowd getting excited on the side table. Yanan and Fan Zhendong battling. But it's a close game here. Shang Kun still leading by 1.
4-6.
Sends Muramatsu to a knee. Takes the point as well. Smart adjustment. Muramatsu moving more toward the center of the table, creating a less predictable serve, serving it into the body. We saw a pendulum serve into the body that was successful earlier in the game.
7-5.
Seemed like a good strategy, serving from the middle, setting up the attack. But a heavy push from Shang Kun. And Muramatsu loops into the top of the net. Can see the frustration, dropping the racket, heading over to the towel. Heavy spin short, just barely over the net, coming back into the table. Muramatsu 1 point away from tying it up. Baseline. Muramatsu staying in there for shot after explosive shot from Shang Kun. And he has tied it up. Look at this. The soft shot to finish it, just too loaded. And it's not just that, it's the pressure of Muramatsu coming running back into the table and the threat of his attack. Serve from the middle, here we go. Ripping backhand goes just long, and Muramatsu misses, trailing now by 1. The decision-making process. A risky ball, but he's got to go for it. Spinny ball misread. Shang Kun spins it up and out. Muramatsu takes the point to tie it at 8 points each. Last 4 serves from the middle of the table. The last two receives from Shang Kun have been topspin rather than the heavy push he gave. And despite being fooled on the forehand side, Muramatsu able to bring it back kicking with the fist shot from down low. Heavy loop on the forehand side for an early outright point. Now 2 game points for Shang Kun to go up 3 games to 1. Muramatsu still in this game. Hearing fans in the crowd, Ganbare. Go for it, Muramatsu, they're saying. Huge forehand to take the point. Last time he went for the third ball attack on the forehand, it was not successful, but this time it has given him one chance here to tie it up. Timeout is called. Shang Kun is going to head over to the corner. You can expect to serve from the middle of the table to the backhand. Chinese speakers at home. Chance to hear the conversation. It's a lot more conversation than we usually hear. Typically the player mostly silent, listening to what the coach has to say, but it sounds like there was some conversation to be had. Shang Kun, either way, coming to the table with some good ideas, he hopes. We'll see. He's got 1 game point left, and Muramatsu now has the serve at 9-10.
9-10.
Miss hit on the forehand, and it's a good look for Muramatsu, but a gasp of disappointment from the crowd. 11-9. Shang Kun goes up 3-1. Game 5. Right after this, stay with us. And we're back for game 5. Yuto Muramatsu trailing 1-3. Japanese player on screen right now. The defender had a good look at a forehand opportunity to tie it up in the last game. Was not able to connect. See if he can turn things around now.
Love 1.
And he just doesn't seem comfortable with that forehand attack. The percentages are much lower than usual right now. the ground on one knee, gets the point with the heavy chop. For you choppers watching at home, the up-and-coming choppers, notice every time he comes running back into the table, almost every time, he's using the inverted. He twiddles the racket to keep heavy spin on the ball after Shang Kun has pushed it back. He doesn't have the top spin from his opponent to add to his chop. And there's some confidence. Several forehand attacks and a counter-looping rally from Muramatsu, but it's the wide chop to finish the point. As close to the net as Shang Kun has been yet. Look at this, on the run. Little side chop. While it's close to the net, it's a tough ball for Shang Kun to get to. Just missing wide on the short line. And that time he touched it with the pips. The short pips did not put heavy spin on it, floated it back. Unpredictability. Shang Kun expecting the heavy push off the inverted, lifts too much and loops it out. Credit to Shang Kun for returning the first two big forehand attacks from Muramatsu in that rally. Miss hit. It looked like it caught the edge. And it sounds like Shang Kun says it hit his t-shirt. Muramatsu agrees. Sportsmanship, that's how it goes. Say what you know, tell the truth. Done and done. Otherwise, it looked like that caught the edge on the back of the table and then the edge on the opposite side to win the point outright. That's a 1 in a million serve if there's no shirt. Probably even more rare if there is a shirt. It's just not Muramatsu's point. Powering spin, strong placement, Shang Kun. A little more spin on that last ball. Keeps it lower. Muramatsu has to get it from out in front as the ball dips down. Muramatsu's disappointed. You can see it. He's got the right idea. Picking his shots, has the opportunity up near the table for the forehand. He should be able to count on himself to make that shot more than he's been making it lately. Beautiful play, Shang Kun misleading with the shoulders and hitting it out wide to the forehand side. After a few big forehands, Muramatsu quickly getting back into defensive play. And after a reverse pendulum, the step around forehand attack, Muramatsu's going big. The percentages just aren't there right now. Understandable after hitting a few forehands to get blocked back. Curves back, but not enough. Shang Kun very much in control in this game, looking to finish it here. I know Masato Shiono from Japan, the winner 2 years ago at the Japan Open, is a believer in defense, defense, and more defense. But the best chopper in the game in modern history, Ju Se-hyuk, shows us why the attack is so important at this level. Soft shot from Shang Kun. The ball really shallow and way out in front when Muramatsu goes for it. Taking a shot like that isn't a great sign for Muramatsu right now. Almost feels like he's thrown in the towel. Then again, it is an aggressive shot. Still fighting to win the point. Cracking backhand. Body language again, shot selection. The last 2 points we've seen it from Muramatsu. It is 7 match points for Shang of China. Ripping shot just misses the back edge of the table, and Muramatsu gets a point. 1 game point saved, still 6 to go before deuce. Big shot goes long, 2 game points saved, 2 match points saved. The crowd applauding almost skeptically, wondering if this can still happen. A long way to go for Muramatsu. The big forehand finishes it. Shang moves on in the tournament. The defeater of Ma Long takes down Yuto Muramatsu and will move on to the men's singles semifinals after losing the first game in deuce. 5, 8, 9, and 5 points is all that he would let Muramatsu score. Stick around, we've got women's singles quarterfinals coming up just after this short break. You're watching the Japan Open. Stay tuned.